Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Combs again, and this is your second video. It's not really a welcome video or welcome video part B. It is a video where I'm going to talk about Edpuzzle and Perusall. These are two other programs we're going to use. So, the first time that you will see Edpuzzle is in week 1. So, when you click week 1 and you go get to step 3, what you will do is click on step 3. And you'll see some information about Edpuzzle. So basically what Edpuzzle is, it's an online educational tool that requires you to watch videos and respond to questions that ask you to reflect on learning or practice skills periodically while you watch. So to begin the Edpuzzle assignment, click the blue Get Started button. So you'll just click the blue Get Started button here. The first time you do that, you'll need to register for Edpuzzle if you've not used it before. But you can do that right here in Blackboard. If you have a Google account, you can use that account to access Edpuzzle. If not, click Sign Up in the top right-hand corner of the window that pops up. And note, Edpuzzle might ask for a nickname or just your first name, but please use your first and last name so I know who's who. I had somebody post last semester that their name was Deer in Headlights. And I mean, didn't have Deer in Headlights on the roster, so I couldn't give that person, whoever used that pseudonym, I couldn't give them points, right? So please just use your first and last name. You shouldn't be asked for a course code, but if you are, the course code for our class this semester is EROHORO. Now, the videos in Edpuzzle sometimes can be a little long. But remember, you can always stop a video and pick up right where you left off. And you will not just sit and passively watch the video. There will be breaks in the video where you're asked to respond in your journal, type something in online, and this will allow you to reflect on your learning and give you time to process concepts. So you'll notice that I'm already logged in. So after you register and log in, then you should be logged in every time you open a new Edpuzzle assignment, right? So if you watch an Edpuzzle video, you have to watch the video all the way through, no skipping ahead. But once you've watched it all the way through once to the very end, and please watch to the very end, because if you don't, then Edpuzzle doesn't think you've watched the entire video, and sometimes it won't give you credit for it. So watch until the very, very end. But after you've watched, let's say that you want to look at a certain topic, but not the whole video. I mean, this one is 40 minutes, right? Over 40 minutes. What I've done here is I've given you a transcript, first of all. Well, secondly, I've given you a transcript of the video that you can use in case you need that. But then I've also given you a timestamp that tells you where in the video I talk about certain topics. So let's say you're okay with context, you're okay with purpose, but you really need to hear about audience again. You can go to time 20 minutes and 1 second and in the video, and that's where I begin to talk about audience. So all you have to do is just click Get Started here, and it will bring up the video, and you can push play. Now, the video in most of the Edpuzzle videos, I use PowerPoint presentations, and I hate a boring PowerPoint. I always theme my PowerPoint presentations. This one's themed to the Muppets. The next one is too, I think. But the theme really has nothing to do with anything. It's just I like to theme PowerPoints. I find creating them to be extremely boring, and so just to liven it up a little bit, I like to sort of design them with different themes. I'm going to hide that. All right, so that is step 3 in week 1 is the first time. So notice in week 2, step 1 and 2, you'll have 2 other Edpuzzle assignments. So again, you have an Edpuzzle assignment here. Sometimes I list videos that are not part of the Edpuzzle assignment. Watch those. They usually relate to the Edpuzzle assignment in some way. And then also for these Edpuzzle assignments, sometimes there are notes and little mini lessons that are after or before. Please read those too and work through those as well. Um, all of this information is for you. It's here to help you as you're writing, right? So one of the things that we don't do in academic writing is use the word you. We don't refer to the audience as you. Like you don't want to say, you enjoyed maternity leave, right? When you had your first child, you don't want to refer to the audience that way. And we'll talk more about why that's true. But unless you look at the mini lecture that I have here and the video that comes along with the Edpuzzle video, you won't get that information. This is the way that I have to give information to you. So please, I know there's a lot of information in this course, but please watch all videos, read all lessons, do everything. And if you have a question about anything, let me know. I was going to say something else, but now I forgot, but it doesn't matter. Okay. So the next thing you'll notice, or the next program that we'll use is Perusall. So Perusall is a way for us to discuss the essays in this course. So what you'll do is when it's time to read essays and discuss them, you'll see a folder. So you'll click on that folder. And before each Perusall assignment, you will have a document that introduces the essay that we're reading a little bit and then gives you some questions to think about. You may want to print that off, or you may want to write those questions down. And as you're reading, you may want to think about answers to these questions, okay? You're not going to be asked to turn these in or anything like that. These are just for your use. Now, during the Perusall assignment, while you're reading, what I want you to do is just click on the Perusall assignment and it will take you to Perusall and it will take you to the very essay that you want to read. So there are some directions here for using Perusall. Basically, Perusall is a program that will allow us to annotate and discuss these essays as you're reading them. So anytime that you see something you want to respond to, and I'm asking you to respond for each Perusall assignment, for each essay we read, I'm asking that you respond at least 7 times. So let's say I'm reading through this and I see that this author is talking about something called the carrier bag theory of fiction. So what I can do is I can highlight that, and when I highlight, it brings up a place for me to comment. So I can make a comment here, I can ask a question, I can put a link in here, I can put a picture, I can put video. You can do anything that you want to create a comment based on this portion of the essay we're reading. And these essays are all about food in Appalachia. They start out talking about food, but then often talk about Appalachia, our area, in a wider context. So students usually respond well to these essays. Excuse me. Oh, I don't know why I'm yawning. I'm not bored. But anyway, and I will respond here and there as well. You can ask a question. What you can upvote. So if you see something that you really, really like, a comment from another student, you can upvote it. You can respond to that student. So what I'm asking you to do is as you go through and you read these essays, for each essay, and this one has this one's only one. Some of the assignments have 2 essays or 3 essays if the essays are rather short. But what I'm asking you to do is for each essay, I want you to respond 7 times. 7 annotations, right? So I really don't want to. What can I do here? Okay, I really didn't want to comment there. I'll wait and reread this while we're reading it and make some comments if I need to then. But let me go back here. So you might say, well, I need some more information. So what I've done here is in step 5, I've given you some resources for reading critically. So these are just resources for reading critically in general. Some videos, a handout that gives you some information, and I've given you some information for annotating a text. How do I annotate a text? What kinds of things do I point out? Well, one of the things that you can do to make a comment in Perusall is you can predict what the material will be about. You can say, "Oh, by reading this, I wonder if later on so and so will talk about this." You can question the material. You can say something you agree with, say something you disagree with, indicate something is important to think about. Um, if there's key vocabulary that you understand that you know something about, please let us know. If you have a question about what a word means, please ask it. Summarize the material. Um, Monitor your comprehension. Say, this is something I don't understand, or I understand this part of this passage, but I don't understand this one. So here's another video on annotating texts. I've given you a couple. And here's an interesting one called Talking to the Text that you may want to look at. Then what I've done is I've given you some information on Perusall itself. So that other information was generally about annotating. You could annotate by underlining in a textbook. You can annotate by, having something in Word. Well, this information is particularly about Perusall. So I give you the ideas for what you can do when annotating again, but then I also give you some specific things that you can do in Perusall. You highlight words or concepts that are unclear to you, look them up, then share what you found. You can share facts. You can engage each text in multiple places. Um, Anytime that you have a statement that has a question mark at the end, then your Perusall automatically turns that into a question. You can read the comments and questions posed by others and respond to those. You can upvote. You can connect ideas. And one of the things I can do as an instructor is I can go through and upvote, and it will say upvoted by instructor. So if there's something that's really thoughtful and meaningful to our discussion, I may, as the instructor, upvote it as well. So Perusall is graded automatically. There is a set of criteria. Um, Number of posts, whether the posts are substantial or not. And Perusall does a pretty good job of grading. So when I go back and I look at what students have posted, I generally agree with what Perusall has said. Um, it's not very hard to get a 3 out of 3. So for each Perusall assignment, you'll get 3 points. So you'll either get 0, 1, 2, or 3 points. It's not very hard to get a 3 out of 3 if you meaningfully engage with the material. And anytime you have something you want to say or something you want to point out, if you just make that annotation, if you answer someone at least once, answer a question or respond to someone else's post at least once, probably will get 3 out of 3. The one thing that you have to keep up with is the Perusall will not give credit, I think, 3 days after the due date. There's a little bit of a grace period, but I think 3 days after the due date, if you're responding then, it will not give credit. So if your Perusall credit's not showing up, that's the reason why. Okay? So you'll notice that we have a Perusall assignment in week 2. We don't have one in week 1. In week 3, we don't have. Oh yeah, we do have a Perusall assignment. One essay. So when I click on that essay, Gardens of Eden, it brings up Gardens of Eden, and then I can do the same thing. So you will not have a Perusall assignment every week. But most weeks we will have a Perusall assignment. Like, for example, during week 5, there's not a Perusall assignment. During week 6, there is, right? So during week 7, not a Perusall assignment, but there is an Edpuzzle assignment. So these Perusall and Edpuzzle assignments are scattered throughout the course. Again, if you have any questions about Perusall or Edpuzzle or anything in the course, just let me know. All right, well, I hope that you found this to be helpful. I think I've covered everything in these 2 videos. If you have any questions, just let me know. Remember that it looks like it's a lot of work, but we have 16 weeks to do it in. And I also want to point out that the course is a little front-loaded. So we do quite a bit of things at the beginning, but towards the end of the semester, there will be weeks and times when there's nothing new to look at, you're just writing. And that's helpful to students because usually at the end of the course is when it becomes intense, right? And you have to get things done. And our class sort of mellows out towards the end. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions. And again, I'm excited about this semester, and I will see you all in the next video.